Everyone, don't waste your time and let's go start this video and watch this video.
UPS workers are revealing what is really happening inside the company. And honestly, some of these stories make you look at the whole buyout situation very differently. Because on paper, a buyout can sound like an amazing opportunity. But once you hear from the people actually working there, you start realizing there's a lot more to this than just taking a check and walking away. And some of these workers make points that I completely agree with, while others honestly make me question the whole situation.
Whoever said money can't buy you happiness was definitely spending it on the wrong stuff. Because if I won the lottery today, the first thing I would do is I would drop my kids off at school and tell them, I'll see you later, instead of I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, right from the beginning, this is already an interesting situation. When a company starts talking about buyouts and employees leaving, my first question is always going to be, what is the company trying to accomplish? Because companies don't normally offer people money to walk away for no reason. There has to be some bigger strategy behind it. And from the worker's perspective, I can understand why this would create uncertainty. If you've spent years building a career at UPS, suddenly hearing that the company wants people to leave can make you wonder what the workplace is going to look like in the future. Personally, I wouldn't panic immediately, but I would definitely start paying attention.
Well, I got it. I got the form. The UPS buyout form. And I got it. I've been there less than 25 years, less than 20 years. And I got it. I've been there with the company close to 10, driving 6. But if this is what they think we're worth, like how hard it was to get there as a driver, just to see those numbers, that's a slap in the face, man. Slap in the face.
Well, this is where the buyout becomes a very serious personal decision. If someone is being offered money to leave a job they've had for years, that money might look extremely attractive at first. But I think workers need to look beyond the check. What happens to your benefits? What happens to your retirement? What happens to your income 6 months from now? That's what matters. A one-time payment can feel like winning the lottery. But if you don't have another source of income lined up, that money can disappear surprisingly quickly. So I don't think taking the buyout is automatically smart or automatically stupid. It depends entirely on the person's age, finances, seniority, and future plans.
They got rid of a bunch of drivers with the buyout, right? And now, at least at my hub, which I know quite a few other hubs might be doing this too, now they're hiring people. And what they're doing is they're getting rid of the people at the higher rate and they're hiring them at the lower rate because we have a scaled progression and it takes 4 years to hit top scale. Now, within that 4 years, we go up for contract and I'm pretty sure it's 2028. So I think that there's going to be a little bit of negotiations, especially with the amount of people that we got rid of. So they could get a higher cap on basically their profit. And so that's why they offered the buyout. Now they hired the new people at half the rate. So I don't know. It's just the math. It is what it is. It's fine. I understand that the company's just trying to make as much money as possible. That's the whole point of a company. But yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes you look at the way stuff is and you're like, oh, okay, it's just all about profit. And I miss when we used to UPS used to hand out turkeys and hams, and they used to give us a bunch of free stuff, and they would have raffles, and they really gave you the sense of they really cared about you as a person, and they cared about you because you were a part of the company. And now things aren't necessarily like that anymore, but I feel like that's like that in most places. Society has really moved away from us being a community and more into it's all about profit margin.
Now, this is the kind of perspective I actually want to hear because this person is talking from inside the operation. And that's very different from somebody on the internet simply guessing what's happening at UPS. When workers start talking about people leaving and positions changing, it gives you an idea of how these corporate decisions actually feel at the employee level. And honestly, I think that's something companies sometimes underestimate. Management might see a spreadsheet and say, we need fewer employees. But workers see coworkers they've worked beside for years suddenly leaving. That's a completely different experience. So even if the business decision makes financial sense, I can understand why employees would be nervous about where this is heading. Well, boss.
The UPS buyout has been approved. There is only 7,500 people that are able to take it. I know in my hub, there are certain drivers that have only been driving less time than I have, and I've been there for 10 years, that are taking the buyout. And then I know that in some other hubs, there are drivers that applied for it and got denied, and they've been there for 30 years. So I'm not exactly sure what the qualifications were for like approving it or anything like that. I'm wondering if it's more based off of like the amount of people in your hub versus the amount of people that applied for it. I don't really know, but we just had 2 people leave on Friday with the buyout. They've been there for like 35 years each, so it's really exciting for them. There's quite a few people that are excited about it. I personally am not taking the buyout. I did not apply for it. I'm here for the long haul. I understand that UPS is doing some stuff and things are going to change, and currently I'm not on my own route because my route got cut today.
And this is where I think the situation gets even more interesting. If certain qualifications or positions are changing, workers who have spent years building experience can suddenly find themselves wondering whether their experience still has the same value. That's frustrating. Imagine doing something for years, becoming extremely good at it, and then being told the company is changing how the job works. I understand why businesses have to evolve, but employees deserve some kind of path forward. If UPS wants to change the workforce, then help experienced workers transition instead of simply making them feel like they're no longer needed. That's how you keep people loyal instead of creating resentment.
Hey y'all, everybody's talking about that buyout right now. What are your thoughts on it? I'm staying. That pension and our healthcare means way more to me than 150 grand. I just have a hard time, especially after taxes. I mean, what's it going to be, like 85,000 maybe? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're about to retire or, think you're going to get laid off, then it's worth it. But I'm good where I'm at. I'm going to keep on trucking and moving up that list. But if you decide to take it, best of luck. Hope y'all find something that you enjoy, because this is a tough job, and we all deserve to be happy. So best of luck to you all. And that's my 2 cents on it. Peace.
This clip is important because it shows that not every employee is going to look at the situation the same way. And honestly, that's normal. One worker might think leaving is the best option, while another might look at the same situation and say, I'm staying. It depends on what that person values. Maybe they need the benefits. Maybe they're close to retirement. Maybe they actually like the job. Maybe they don't have another opportunity waiting for them. That's why I don't think outsiders should tell workers what they should do. If UPS gives you an offer, you have to look at your own financial situation. What makes sense for one employee could be a terrible decision for another.
UPS is offering us full-time drivers buyouts to bail. Get out of here. Here's some money. You can leave. Instead of firing everyone. I'm gonna take that shit, bro. It doesn't make any sense for most people. Alright? If you've been here for like 0 to 12 to 15 years even, it doesn't make sense for you. Because it's not gonna be enough money to make it worth what you would make for the rest of your career. So for most people, no. Unless you're someone that already wants to leave. UPS is a great job. We make good money. We have great health benefits. I understand all that for sure. Yeah. Unless you're someone that wants a little bit more out of your life than just that. Than a good, good money. There's a lot out there. I know the grass isn't always greener. I completely understand that. I would never just up and leave a career to pursue an unknown. I'm not that guy, because I got, a family, I got a wife and kids at home. But this could be an opportunity that if you wanted to leave already, at least you get some money out of it. You didn't want to sit here and do this job for the next 30 years. I don't think I do. It beats you up. Work-life balance sucks. You're hardly home. It's hot as shit outside and hot as hell out here in Houston, bro. It's brutal, man. So if you are someone that really wants to leave already, take that shit. Get out of here, man. But everything's going automated, bro. They're trying to get rid of everybody. It's crazy. It is crazy. They want to get everything's AI. Everything's going automated, automatic trucks, automated this, automated freaking delivery people, robots delivering packages. Like, they want it all automated. I mean, I get it. We're adapting. It's part of just where we're going with things, but whoo, baby.
Now, this is where I think the conversation moves beyond just buyouts. Because when you hear workers discussing the future of their jobs, you have to think about the bigger changes happening in delivery. Companies are constantly looking for ways to become faster and cheaper, and technology is obviously going to play a bigger role. I'm not against automation at all. If technology can make a physically demanding job easier, that's a good thing. But there's a difference between using technology to help workers and using technology to eliminate workers. I think UPS needs to be very careful about that distinction. The people who already know the business should have opportunities to adapt instead of simply being pushed out.
The worst job I ever had in my life was UPS. And it's not but that UPS is a bad place to work, but I'm talking about they work you like a dog. I was an unloader. I worked the overnight shift. I think I worked something like 10 to 2 or 10 to 3, something like that. It was like overnight. And I remember my first experience going in that mug. I felt like I was going to prison because the gates was all high. You got to walk through security. You got to empty out your pockets before you go in that joint. You can't have no phone, no nothing. I said, where are they taking me? I ain't think I was getting out. I ain't know what was going on. And then the lady tried to tell us in orientation. She told me, she said, look, is this what you want to do with your life? And I'm like, I'm just trying to work. I'm just trying to. She said, there's other things that you could be doing. I ain't understand. She was giving me warning signs. I ain't know what it was. She was giving me warning signs then. I didn't heed. And so we had to demonstrate how to stack boxes and all this type stuff and how to do it and how to properly bend over. You can't bend your back. My first night, I was training with somebody and I opened up that truck and oh my God, packages started falling out. I saw packages as far as the eye can see, thousands of them. And you mean to tell me I got to unload this whole thing? And it's 100 degrees in here? UPS, let me tell you something. When I got halfway, my first day on the job, I was delirious. I thought they might have slipped something. I thought they did something to me. I was delirious. I ain't know where I was. It was so hot and it was so hard to work. I ain't know where I was. I was delirious. By the time we got to the back of the truck, I thought I was back in slavery. I started saying, "I's master, is that master?" Yes, man. Well, yeah, we done, boss. Yeah, we got done there. We got it done there. Yeah, yes, we got done. Yes, sir.
I actually think this is one of the biggest points people miss. When you have experienced employees, you're not just paying them for the hours they work. You're also getting years of knowledge. They know the customers, the routes, the problems, the shortcuts, and the things that aren't written down in some company manual. You can't replace all of that overnight. So if UPS is restructuring, I hope they're thinking about the long-term value of experienced workers instead of only looking at the immediate payroll savings. Saving money today is great, but if you lose the people who actually know how to keep the operation running smoothly, you could create a completely different problem later.
Do for a living?
I work for UPS.
You guys see the fit?
Yeah,
How long have you been doing this for?
26 years.
How much do you make doing this?
How much I make?
Yeah.
I make around like 150.
What made you get into this?
I was 19 years old. I had to make a choice from college or just go into the work field. So my parents didn't have the money for college, and I know I wasn't gonna owe 80,000 at my first try at the economy.
Yeah.
So I went to UPS, and I'm at my 26th season.
What would you say like a day in the life is like?
You could compare it to the NBA.
How so?
It's a physical job, just like NBA players. They get bruised up and stuff like that. But we don't have the famous doctors, all these things to recover.
Yeah.
But our job is totally physical.
I'm assuming you love it. You've been doing it for a while.
6 years. Yes.
So what's your favorite thing about it?
Customers, making them happy, seeing the joy that they get from just us doing our job.
And what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into this and do what you do?
You have a union and you have a chance to make over 100 something K, and people need their packages. So if you need a job,
This is an interesting perspective because now we're hearing directly from someone out in the real world doing the job. And that's important because customers usually don't think about what happens behind the delivery. They see a UPS truck, get their package, and move on with their day. But the driver is dealing with traffic, weather, time pressure, heavy packages, and customers all day long. So when UPS changes its business model, those changes aren't just numbers on a corporate report. They affect the person actually making the delivery. Personally, I think UPS needs to make sure efficiency doesn't come at the expense of service quality or worker safety. A faster system isn't better if the people running it are completely burned out.
If you've never had to work a warehouse job or a job where you unloading trucks in the middle of this heat we got now, then you don't know what heat is. You think you've been hot. When I was working at UPS, it was so hot in that warehouse one time. I got done with my work. They told me to go help somebody else in another trailer. I got in there and there happened to be a friend of the family I didn't even know was working there. This man looked like they didn't crack the whip out. This man, when I walked in the trailer, it looked like they whipped him. I was about to walk out of that trailer and report it because he looked beat down. As soon as I got in there, he said, Jay, they better send somebody up in here to help me in this mug. Come on, man, help me out. I said, man, I didn't know you worked here. He said, I ain't got time to chit chat. Let's just get done, bro. I was just in awe that he worked there. I didn't even know he was there, but he didn't want to have basic conversation. It was so hot. This is where you cut your teeth. This is where real men. Some people go to war, fight for the country. Others, they work warehouse jobs. I'm telling you, all the warehouse workers, truck unloaders, UPS, USPS, Amazon.
And this final perspective brings the whole thing together for me. The biggest question isn't whether UPS should change, because obviously the company has to adapt as the delivery industry changes. The real question is how they handle the people who are already there. If UPS can modernize the business, improve efficiency, and still give experienced workers a realistic future, then I think that's a win. But if the strategy is simply to reduce the workforce and tell everyone else to deal with it, that's where I think problems start. A company can save money and still damage employee morale. And once workers stop believing they have a future there, that's much harder to fix. After hearing all of these workers, I don't think this is as simple as saying UPS workers should take the money or stay. Every employee has a different situation. But one thing is clear to me. UPS is changing, and workers are going to have to make some very serious decisions about their future. Personally, I'd never take a buyout just because the number looks big. I'd calculate the benefits I'm giving up, my future income, retirement, and what my next move would be. Because once you leave, you can't always go back. So what would you do? Take the UPS buyout and walk away, or stay for the long-term benefits and job security? Let me know in the comments.
And this video is made for entertainment purpose only. Like and follow and subscribe and comment this video an interesting part in the video, please comment and like, follow please. Thank you.